and welcome back to my channel. I've got with me some amazing list of books that I am excited to read. Some of these are releasing towards the end of the year. Some of these are mostly in the first quarter of next year. But I am so excited about these books. I think I have one book that's already just released, but it hasn't come yet to India, as in I can't find it on Amazon. So I'm just going to add it to the list because I am super keen to read it. So without waiting, let's get right into it. So I am going to start off with Riley Sager's The Only One Left. Now this is another standalone horror story from Riley Sager. If you have read any of his books, you would know that all his books are super psychologically creepy, eerie, and you always have this sense of what's going on till the end of the book, because there are way too many twists and way too many unexpected turnarounds that happen throughout the book. And this one, I just simply love the cover. First of all, there's like this abandoned mansion on top of a cliff in the middle of nowhere. And secondly, the plot line for this is just brilliant as always. I mean, you'd think that the story is a little bit cliched. I mean, that's what I thought about Home Before Dark. Like, this is just a normal story. We've seen so much of this in movies. We've read lots of books about this. But when you read Riley Sager's book, there's always like that thing that you don't expect and that always comes through. And I don't know how he does it, but I just love that about his books. So this one talks about this old lady who's like in her 70s, who is alone living in that manor. And there's a caretaker who's now going to go and spend her time with this old lady. But apparently, when this lady was really young, in her teens, she was accused of murdering everybody in that family, in that manor, and I don't think that manor has ever been habitated ever since. She's been living there alone by herself. But it looks like, although she's completely denied that she has killed anyone. However, there's more than what it seems, like every Riley Sager's book. I really want to read this during October, towards the Halloween time. I probably will add this to my Halloween set of recommendations that I will put up on my channel soon as well, because it has to be at least one Riley Sager book now, shouldn't there be? Anyway, so this book got released just, I think, a couple of months back, and I'm still trying to get a hold of this. I really want to read it so bad. If anybody has read this book, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I have seen like a few review videos about this and everyone's just raved about how brilliant it is, and so I really want to get my hands on it. The next book that I want to talk about is Empire of the Damned. So you guys, this book is going to come out, like, first of all, I didn't know that this was going to be out, I think start of next year, and then I came across it and I completely flipped. So Empire of the Vampire is the first book in this, I don't know if this is going to be a duology or a trilogy or a series, I have no idea, but that was the first book and I read it last year and I lost my mind. I mean, it was so heavy on so many levels. So if you read like Dracula, then you know the intensity of Dracula in the book, right? So this is on similar terms. It's not like an easy vampire-ish book, but it is more story driven, plot driven, character driven. It's very heavy. It's a really fat book as well. So Empire of the Vampire completely blew my mind in that aspect. It is not a beginner's book, I will definitely say that. It's got a lot of plot line and storyline, and you'd have to really invest yourself in reading that book, and if you do, you're gonna come out longing for more. I mean, that book was so good. I really enjoyed it, and when I heard that Empire of the Damned is already ready and it's going to be out like start of next year, I flipped. So if you're into like a vampire-ish vibe, except not like the Twilight vampire-ish, or not like any of the Vampire Academy, House of Night, none of those vampires, a serious vampire-ish vibes, like I said, Dracula by Bram Stoker, the classic vibe, then you should check out this book. This is the second book though, so make sure you check out the first book and then we can go on to the second one. Next book that I want to talk about is Swordcatcher. So Swordcatcher is Cassandra Clare's foray into adulthood. So we had, like, I think 2 years back, Sarah J. Maas's foray into adulthood with the House of Sky and Breath series, or the House of Flame and Shadow, which is going to come out. I'm going to talk about that book in a while. But now, for Cassandra Clare's point of view, she has written all of the Shadowhunter Chronicles. So I have loved the Shadowhunter series. If you've seen my videos, you know I'm totally into the Infernal Devices, the Dark Artifices. Those are like my go-to favorite books. And now Cassandra Clare is coming out with Swordcatcher, which is going to be her first adult foray book. And there's already like so many excerpts and character point of views and learn your characters, get to know your characters kind of things online already. And we meet a lot of these characters and they're all so interesting that I really want to see what this book is all about. Of course, it's set in like a fantasy world. We've got wars, we've got strong female leads, we've got swords, we've got fights, we've got everything that you can think of from like a medieval kind of view. And so I'm really excited to read this book. I think it's going to be coming out sometime later this year, if I'm not wrong. And I'm gonna get this right away. Next book is House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J. Maas, and this is the book that I was talking about briefly before. So this is the third book in her House of series, and this is a foray into the adult books series by Sarah J. Maas. If you have read her A Coat of Thorns and Roses or Throne of Glass series, and you're already accustomed to the way she writes, however, this series is a little bit different. It's got a little bit more intensity from the characters than you'd expect from a young adult book. Having said that, I read the first book and I liked it, but I wasn't sure if I'd read the second book. And then I read the second book, and you know, these books are really huge. They're like 800 pages long, and so if you're not completely invested, then it's just going to be like, what am I going to do with this book? So when I was reading the second book, like halfway through, I was not that keen. Like starting was really good because I wanted to know what happened to those characters, but then midway I like drifted apart. But then in the last few chapters, she got me back into the book, and I was so intrigued. And she has a lot of these other series that she could cross relate with. So I'm actually really excited about the third book now because I want to know how her plot's gonna grow. It just seemed a little bit what's gonna go on kind of feeling in this book. So I really am excited to try this book. It's completely, again, a little bit difficult. If you're a beginner, I wouldn't recommend the House of series at all. Instead, you could try her young adult books like A Kotar or Throne of Glass, and then you can jump onto this series. The next book I would like to tell you that I am excited about is All This Twisted Glory by Tahira Mafi. This is the third book in her Infinite Thread series. I have read The Woven Kingdom and I loved it. I know a lot of people who didn't enjoy it as much, but I don't know. I think I'm a sucker for Tahira Mafi books because at the moment I'm reading the Shatter Me series, or I've just like gotten done with it. I'm not sure about when this video is gonna upload, but then I'm loving it, you guys. I know there are a lot of people with divided opinions about her books, but I think I'm gonna say that I like her books. I'm a fan. So this is the third book. Actually, to tell you the truth, I haven't read the second book as yet. I read The Woven Kingdom, I fell in love with it, but I hadn't got a chance to like get around to a second book. But I'm already excited about the third book because this series was so different and very inviting. So this is completely based out of an Arabian ambience and an Arabian landscape. Our characters are very medieval, very Middle Eastern, and I don't know, that vibe was like so different and so interesting. And the plot line was also really good, and the characters were not great, the personalities were not great, but the story somehow kept pulling me in, so I kind of forgave the flaws in the characters throughout the course of the book. So I'm really thinking that I'm going to love the third book as well. So I'm excited for this to get released. Next book that I'm excited about is The Fragile Threads of Power by V.E. Schwab. So I have read The Darker Shade of Magic and I loved it. I mean, the storyline was so different and the plot was different. Maybe I'll talk about all of these, different plots in like a whole separate video. But in this story, what happens is we have London, and then we have all these different, not like a multiverse, but basically multi-dimensional sort of, and you can travel between these different Londons at the same time. So you have like a red London, a grey London. There are so many different Londons like that, and we have this main character who can actually travel through these different dimensional planes, and you guys, it was really good. I'm just like reminiscing the story, and it was really really good. I haven't finished that series though, but this is a whole new series that again takes away from the same plot line. I'm not sure if this is following the main character from the book, which is Darker Shade of Magic, or if this is like a whole set of new characters. But I do see Kel was like the main character in the Darker Shade of Magic series. So I am thinking that this is again probably a like a sequel to that whole series. I'm not sure, but this is the first book in this series, The Threads of Power, and I am so excited to again delve into this dimensional planes of London, because the story and the way the word building, everything is just so brilliant about this series. The next book that I wanted to bring up is the Wizarding Almanac, and oh my god, I am excited about this. So this is a Bloomsbury edition book, and it's going to be, I think, out sometime later this year. And basically this is like a collective complete delving into the world of Harry Potter and Hogwarts. So we get to like understand all of the different houses, understand all of the different creatures, professors, Hogwarts schools, and everything, like just about anything Harry Potter. So it's like an almanac, like a complete encyclopedia of anything Harry Potter-ish. I know the Harry Potter thing has been and done like a zillion other times, but then I personally don't mind adding this book to my collection, because it just looks like it's beautiful with all of its illustrations and pictures, and oh my god, it just looks gorgeous. Something that you can just flip through while you just want to like go through some nice book with a cup of tea. That would be a great addition to the library. And then I've got another Hogwarts one, and this is the Prisoner of Azkaban Mina Lima edition. So Mina Lima have like the first two books already out, which is Philosopher's Stone and Chamber of Secrets. And the reason I like this is because their illustrations are just not just illustrations, but also they're very interactive. So they have like at least 7 to 8 interactive elements in each of their books that you can actually do while you read the book, and I think that was very immersive. It gives you like a very immersive experience. And the first two books were brilliant, but I don't know, this third one looks really good. When I was looking at it on social media or even on Goodreads or anywhere, like the whole book itself looks like there's so much of effort put into it. And now that we know that Jim Kay is not doing the rest of the other Harry Potter illustrated editions, and I don't even know when the last two books would be coming out and who's going to be doing it. I think this would be like a good set of illustrated books you can start collecting if you're into the Harry Potter illustrated works. So that's another book that I'm excited to come out. The next book that I'm excited about is To Gaze Upon Wicked Gods by Molly X. Chang, and this is going to be out sometime like next year. But the reason why I really love the book was first the cover. I mean, look at it, it looks drop dead gorgeous. And secondly, I again like the plot. This has a story where the main protagonist, the female lead, she can actually pull life out of a person and I don't know, store it. So I'll just read like the little excerpt from Goodreads. So basically it says, blessed by death, born with the ability to pull the life right out of mortal bodies, Ruing shouldn't have to fear these foreign invaders, but she does, especially because she wants to keep herself and her family safe. When Ruing's gift is discovered by an enemy prince, he offers her an impossible deal. If she becomes his private assassin and eliminates his political rivals, whose deaths he swears would be for the good of both their worlds and would protect her people from further brutalization, her family will never starve or suffer harm again. But to accept this bargain, she must use the powers she has always feared, powers that will shave off years from her own existence. Can she trust the prince? Can she make her heart ache and make a better world? Are the evils of this agreement really in the service of a much greater good, or will she betray her entire nation by protecting those she loves the most? It just felt a little bit realistic, but at the same time, it's got a lot of this magical elements in it that could drive a person right into the book. So I'm excited about this book. This is again a series. This is the first book, so I really am interested to read it and see how the rest of the series go. The next book and the last one that I'm super excited about is Education in Malice by S.T. Gibson. It's a part of the Dowry of Blood series, and this is out again sometime early next year. And I think this would be a great dark academia book. I could have added this into my dark academia list of recommendations had I read it. But again, this has like a brilliant storyline. So, deep in the forgotten hills of Massachusetts stands St. Perpetua's College. Isolated and ancient, it is not a place for timid girls. Here, secrets are currency, ambition is lifeblood, and strange ceremonies welcome students into the fold. On her first day of class, Laura Sheridan is thrust into an intense academic rivalry with the beautiful and enigmatic Carmilla. Together, they are drawn into the confidence of the demanding poetry professor De La Fontaine, who holds her own dark obsession with Carmilla. But as the rivalry blossoms into something far more delicious, Laura must confront her own strange hungers. Tangled in a sinister game of politics, bloodthirsty professors, and dark magic, Laura and Carmilla must decide how much they are willing to sacrifice in their ruthless pursuit of knowledge. I mean, that sounds really daring and very, very interesting. I think this would be a great, again, Octoberish read. I probably might get it sometime in the early of next year, but then only read it only during like Halloweenish, because I think that's how this ambience is going to end up. So there you go. Those are all the books that I am excited about towards the end of this year and start of next year. If you are excited about any books that I haven't mentioned in this list, let me know in the comments below. Or if you're excited about the same books, also let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and I will see you in another video. Bye.